Hi, Rob. Nice
G'day.
to
G'day.
nice to see you, and thank you for your responding to invitation to this interview with me. I'm happy to have you also on my channel. And can you introduce yourself a little bit for our Slovenian people here?
Yeah, of course. Of course. So, Alex, thank you for inviting me, because it's always a pleasure to talk about what's important to me, to anyone who's interested to explore this. So my background is in medicine. I was in a suburban general medical practice for 10 years. And towards the end of that, I got interested in hypnosis. And the kind of hypnosis I found out about early on was a very traditional, an expert telling someone what to do. It was a little bit like using the medical model. It was a bit like using hypnosis as an anesthetic. So you put someone out or under, and then you do the therapy on them. It's like giving them an anesthetic, then you could do some psychological surgery and remove the problem or do something to fix it. But I got interested in Milton Erickson. It was one of those things that I just stumbled across. I saw a wonderful documentary about Erickson called The Artistry of Milton H. Erickson by Herb Lustig. And it was astounding to me, because here was this world-renowned figure working with someone as if they were human beings, not like they were clients. And so I was, you know, they talk about love at first sight. I saw him and I fell in love with that man. And this is 60 years later, or 40 years later, and I'm still in love with the guy and what he was about, even though he's been dead for all that time. But what I found intriguing about Erickson was his emphasis on looking with each individual for what was going to be helpful for them, rather than trying to fix them. He said to me that he had a phone call from a woman who'd been washing her hands obsessively for 15 years. And he said that he was very interested to find out from her what she used to do with her hands 16 years ago. I mean, that's an extraordinary kind of shift from trying to treat OCD or compulsive behavior, or finding out what caused it, and so on. And he said that every person is an individual, and everyone has more resources than they realize. And so his invitation was for us to explore with each individual person what was going on for them that would be helpful, what resource would be useful for them, what learning would be beneficial to them. So he treated people like they were able and they were resourceful. And that was very different from from the background that I had, where I was the expert and I could fix someone and I'll tell them what to do, and quite the opposite of what I learned. Alex, my favorite Ericksonian joke is, how many Ericksonian therapists does it take to change a light globe? Does a light globe translate? Is that light globe? Some people call it a light globe, light bulb.
Yes, it's a ball, light bulb.
Yeah. Yeah. How many people does it take? And the answer is it takes 19. One to change the light bulb, and 18 to say how they think Erickson would have done it differently. So there are a lot of people who are experts at saying and distilling what Erickson was about and his principles. And I'm just one of them. I'm not saying I've got the answer here, but I am interested, and I'm interested to share with other people. You mentioned Bill O'Hanlon. But Bill O'Hanlon is a friend I've known for 40 years. And he and I have got Michael Yapko also. You know, I'm good friends with these people. And they have their own particular take on what Erickson was about. And I have some quite serious disagreements about what they say. But I can disagree with them, but really get on very well with them and like them and appreciate them and learn from them. Because it's not what Erickson did, and it's not what Bill O'Hanlon says or Michael Yapko says, or even what Alex says, or what I say. That's not the important thing. It's what therapists can learn from their own perspective, and to translate anything that they learn, translate it into their own language, so they can make their own version of it.
Yes. And this is what I really found interesting also from you and Bill O'Hanlon when I took his course. And I saw that, like, you know, you were with Milton directly, and both of them, different styles, different, you know, I mean, but at the end, it's really not fighting with each other as a therapy or whatever you were coming through. So, and this is really beautiful about that work. And also, I found teaching in my school, also the others now, because I'm teaching this similar approach I thought from you. And also in my combination a little bit, in my translation, like you say.
I would hope so.
Yes, of course, it is like that. And also I found right now the people who learned that approach, also they're doing in their own natural way.
Yes.
Their own stories, their own approach, how they ask questions, how they're coming through, and really appreciate the client. And it's really amazing how this approach really changed my point of view of therapy and approaching to the people, and really have a respect and belief in a client that he can make the change, not I as a therapist. So it's a huge difference.
Well, I've been teaching this work for, I don't know, a long time, decades now. And people who learn from me say they learn much more from each other than they do from me. And, you know, I love it when a client says, I didn't learn anything from you. I just got over this myself. Like, yes, that's what we want.
Yes. Yes.
We are the least important person in the room. It's the client that's the important thing.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to know whether you had a good session, all you need to do is ask the client. I've had situations where I've been working with a client and I'm thinking, oh, I wish this was on national television. I'm so good. I'm so on the job here. I'm brilliant. And the client's going, nah, not very important. And other times I've been with someone and I'm thinking, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing here. And the client will think, oh, and they'll say, oh, now I'm okay. I'll be all right now.
Yes. And this is really interesting also because I found for myself, like, because it's because there was a agenda sometimes, you know, and when it's agenda, I feel like then I felt stuck because I was not interested in the client because it was about me. I need to do something as a therapist.
Yes.
And then and also, like you said, like when I know when it's a good therapy, also when I sometimes don't remember what I said.
Yeah, exactly.
Where did it come from? It was,
You know, there was a Canadian family therapist, Carl Tom, who said people talk about difficult clients. And difficult clients are actually just doing what they're doing. We call them difficult because they're not doing what we think they should be doing. And I've taken this very seriously. For me, there is no such thing as a resistant client. just a resistant therapist.
Yeah.
So if we're not getting if the client's not responding, it's not something from them, it's something from us that we
Yes.
need to look into.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, oh, they're not ready to change, or they're getting some secondary gain, or there's some other problem there. No, it's for us to do the adaptation, us to do, to make the change.
Yes, of course. Thank
You
you.
know that.
Thank you for that. Yeah, of course. It's really amazing.
Mhm.
And can you tell us a little bit about maybe some experience with Milton Erickson, how it was for you maybe to meet him first time, or
Yeah, when I first met him, it was on a Monday. I was ushered into his sitting room, and there was another therapist down from Canada. And Erickson said to this other man, could you show Robert what happened yesterday? And Lee said, yeah, I'd be happy to. He said, I was sitting in this same chair, listening to you. And I thought, what's going on here? Where's the induction? You're supposed to induce hypnosis. So Erickson showed that Lee could go into trance in his own way just by remembering that. And he then continued to tell stories for the next 3.5 hours. And at the end of that time, I said to him, I think I understand something of what you're saying, but could you give me the short version? And I had the 3.5 hour version, and then he gave me the short version. He says, what we experience depends on how we direct our attention. I mean, really, that's a gem, isn't it? What we experience.
wow.
And he was about helping people to, I had so many different experiences when I was with him. Changes in my emotions, change in my body sensations, change in my attitude, change in my whole approach to therapy. And that happened through experience, not through theory, not through explanations, but just by experiences.
Amazing. Yeah.
It was amazing. So I spent a couple of weeks with him in 77, another couple of weeks in 78, and then another week with him in 1980, just before he died. And what I'm left with all after all this time, I noticed towards the end of his life, if someone asked him a question, instead of giving a straight answer to that question, he would often start by saying, I don't know. Then he would tell a story or give some ideas or some possibilities. But he was willing to not know. And what a beautiful place to start.
Yes.
So often, therapists think, I need to go to workshops and find out so I can know something, then I'll know what to do.
Yes. I think really beautifully also, I was reading also Jean Klein's book, like From Non-Duality, and he was also explaining from this space of not knowing, there is a beauty which comes up, it's like you are willing to know with not know, because if you know, you are fixed in your thinking, in your, and it's really beautiful. Yes.
That Zen master Suzuki said that in a beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In an expert's mind, there are very few. So if we want to have more possibilities, then we need to be a beginner, to not know, to be curious, to wonder. And in particular, there's a particular mood that Erickson emanated, and people caught it. And that was a mood of possibility.
Interesting.
Something can happen here. We don't know what, but we can find out. We can be curious.
Yes.
Yeah, he had that attitude that influenced so many different people. And the influence he had was not, he didn't produce clones of himself.
Yes,
The people
yes.
who learned from him found their own individual way of expressing it.
Yes,
Like
because we are different, like we are different and we cannot, you know, copy or, and also I remember he said to someone like, don't copy me. If you speak fast, speak fast. If you speak slow, speak slow. So in a sense, be yourself. That's the whole important thing here.
Yeah, he had a great sense of humor. What he said to me was, don't try and copy me. You couldn't anyhow.
Amazing. Amazing.
Don't copy me. You couldn't anyhow.
Yeah.
But like you said,
So
be
Rob,
yourself.
how like after you met him and your perspective in therapy changed definitely because he had really impact on you. How that change in your therapy later on with your clients after you visit him?
Well, first of all, I got so enthusiastic about Milton Erickson that good friends would cross the road to avoid having another sermon from me about how wonderful Erickson was. I got very, very enthusiastic about his approach. So people, after a while, got bored of that, and I learned to kind of tone that down a bit. So I found over the years, Alex, that what I do with clients and in my teaching is a lot simpler than it was when I first started. Pretty simple. You know, if we start with the idea that people have got resources, I found that if we can ask someone, what would be helpful here? What would you like to happen here? What would be beneficial for you? To find out what's missing for them and then help them to find that. One of my heroes, Birgit Bala in Norway, had an agency called the Helping Place. And they used to ask someone when they came, what do you want? And whatever someone wanted, they would help them to find that. They didn't impose anything. So in my work with clients and in my teaching, instead of looking at for all the complications of how to speak and how to structure everything, it's just become a lot more simple, a lot more easy, a lot more natural. And the basic assumption is there. The people have got the resources.
Yeah. What I can say, like being with you and also in your with your teaching, it's really like for me experience like a really light and really invitation that you can, you know, inviting. That's what I sensed, you know, during your teachings. And so and also some clients also report me that they can, when they come here. I remember one story. One client, she came from Bosnia to visit me here, and we were working together. And after a few minutes of asking her questions to find the solutions and everything, she started to speak and talk about things when she couldn't imagine, because she didn't tell no one. And then after that, she caught herself to her mouth. What I'm saying, I haven't supposed to say that. So, but somehow I trust you. So that I knew that there is a trust that she opened up and start speaking. So this is what I somehow subconsciously or whatever picked from working with you. So it's really amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's lovely. The other thing that Erickson emphasized was, you know, when I met him, he was an old man in a wheelchair with a lot of pain. You know, he had a lot of trouble, that poor fella. And he said very seriously, why don't people have more fun in life? And he had fun. The first time second time I was there, I was with someone that I knew, and he gave this case and asked everyone in the room about what they thought about the case. And I was full of all kinds of good ideas, and I said, well, I think blah, 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 blah. And Erickson said to my friend, he said, you will forgive your friend for being so horribly wrong. So he had fun in his interactions. And I found that humor is very useful. You know, we've got enough problem with, you know, quoting Erickson again, people have enough problem with the heaviness of their problem without having to put up with heavy therapy as well. So I find I like jokes. I like to help someone laugh a bit.
Yes.
And
and it's also really easy to break the cycle of their
absolutely
behavior or whatever, and it's really more open up the possibilities and everything. Also, I found that really helpful with clients, you know.
There was a woman who was bulimic, and Erickson discovered that her husband was an accountant. So he said to the woman, next time you vomit into the toilet, call your husband into the toilet and get him to do a financial inventory about how much money you're about to flush down the toilet. Really, you can't ask someone to do that.
No.
The husband got interested in what the woman was doing, and the vomiting stopped.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing.
It is. But you know, that's not how you do therapy. That's not the proper way to do things. Erickson encouraged everyone to do something that's going to be useful rather than to do something that's going to be proper.
Yeah. Amazing.
He was working with a little girl who was about 9. She had a problem with self-esteem. She didn't feel confident. So he got down on his hands and knees with her and played jacks. Do you know jacks? You know jacks?
No, I don't know that. But
it's like something that you pick up and you throw and you try and catch them on the back of your hand.
Okay.
She was a lot better than he was at that. So she kept beating him. And the fact that she was better than the grown-up therapist expert was very helpful to her confidence.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
He was really like you know, meeting everyone where they are and to encourage them that they can, you know, it's amazing. It's really beautiful. It's really beautiful.
Yeah. And the other thing that I've noticed, Alex, is that there's something so satisfying about having a conversation with someone. They come in and they're suffering and there's something that's really troubling them. And we do what we do and they feel better. We feel better too. Some of the emotions that the client feels, the relief that they feel, the joy that they feel, we get to benefit from that. We can get some relief. We can get some joy.
Yes.
So, you know.
Yes, I found many times. Sorry, I found many times working with clients also that when they had a relief, I also had a relief with them. It's like a both.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's not an either or. It's not like, you know, after a day's work, oh, we've given so much we feel depleted. On the contrary, you get all that benefit from the clients. You can feel energized at the end of the day.
Yes, yes. And also what we spoke about, that also we sometimes can pick the energies from the clients as if there was heavy release or something.
Sure.
How is it about that? Do you had sometimes same experience, or
Sure. And sometimes we pick up moods from clients that we don't like, that we don't want.
Mm,
You know, some clients have got some kind of heaviness with them and they're not going to shift it.
yes.
And we can feel heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And people have told me that they've found different ways of releasing that unwanted emotion
Mm-hmm.
by lighting a candle, going for a walk around the block, having a cup of tea. But so that will happen occasionally, but mostly there is that feeling of relief and pleasure and satisfaction and joy when you see someone
Yes,
opening up and becoming more of who they are.
of
That's
course.
the joy of it.
Of course, it is mostly joy, but also we need to talk about that this also can happen because it's normal, it's
Oh,
natural, it's natural
sure.
way. Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
Some people don't have the wisdom to know just how wonderful we are, Alex.
Mm,
If people just realized how wonderful we are, they could come and see us and they could go out and feel just fine. But some people don't realize just how extraordinarily wonderful you and I are.
mm,
So then the benefit happens when they discover that we're not the experts, we're not the
yes,
wise, they are.
of course, of course.
That's the relief, yeah.
It's really when I also ask the clients who came to visit me or on the sessions, and then I ask him, okay, you've been also through some other therapists or seeing other sessions. Can you tell me about what is different that therapy? And
Sure.
everybody said, I finished my problem. I came to the conclusion. You didn't give me almost nothing. So somehow there is a subconsciously, consciously, I feel confidence in myself.
Exactly.
And that's really the powerful.
So, Alex, I think it's important to put this in context. You know, Jeffrey Zeig was very, very appreciative of Milton Erickson. It made him very popular and put on conferences and so on. And at one point, Erickson said to Jeff, you know, don't forget, I'm just another old bozo along life's journey. Nothing special.
Mm,
And Alex, it's important that you know that I'm an imposter. I really don't know much. If you want to know how inadequate I am and how many faults I've got, ask my wife. She can give you a long list of. So
yes.
it's not like I'm trying to pretend that I know or I'm an expert. No, I think that what you and I can do is provide experiences for people to explore in themselves what they can do, whether it's a client or whether it's someone wanting to learn to be a therapist.
Yes.
You know, Jay Haley he gave a lovely talk at one of the Erickson conferences early on, and the title of his talk was, "What is therapy supervision?" And the short version of the talk was, supervision is therapy. And in the same way that when you are sharing this approach with people who want to learn it, it's therapy. So the way of learning therapy is the way of doing therapy.
Yes.
We're all learning together here.
Yes, of course. You said that really, really nicely. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. And also not just about being a therapist here. I also found, and also the others of my students, they are not doing a therapy, but they're using in their everyday life. Also, I'm using with my son, telling his stories.
Hey.
And
Yes,
it's
yes,
really
yes.
amazing how quickly he can go to sleep. And someone gave
Sure.
me an idea. Why you don't write a book, child book, like with this? It's a great idea, you know, because
Right on. Yeah.
yeah. So maybe I don't know yet, but in a sense, it's really amazing. And also one of my students says like because she's working in some hotel, and she says like because she's a boss, I think, something like that, and she said like I understand more now my colleagues, and asking them right questions, and seeing and more like lighten them up. So that's it. That's it. If this serves you everywhere, it's really amazing.
Yeah. So students are people, and clients are people.
Yes.
Therapists are people, and teachers are people too. We're all people.
You're all people. Yes. Yes. Yes.
You know, I don't know whether you know that comment that Eric Fromm said years ago. We do the work that we do, hoping that one day one of our clients will cure us, so that we can learn with clients, and students can learn with us how to be a boss, or how to listen, or how to be a human being. It's what it's about, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it's really amazing. So Rob, I'm thinking about maybe you can also do you have some kind of events that are coming that maybe someone who wants to learn more or about your teaching, your approach that
Sure. I've got an online program that's starting in late July that people would be welcome to join. I'll send you a link to that.
Okay.
But they may not, the people that you know might not be as crazy as you, because they need to be willing to be up and participating in this at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
I mean, really, you've got to be crazy to do that. But
yes, I did it for 2 years. So
yeah. I mean, I went to learn with Milton Erickson. I went to the other side of the world. So, you know, I'm crazy too. So
of course, this is just
I'll
only for
I'll
crazy ones.
I'll send you the link. We're all crazy
Yes.
here.
Yes, you can send me the link, and I will just also post it on the video, like at the end of the video. So, so do you have maybe some let's say closer thoughts about anything, about maybe to say something to people who would like to attend this approach, or maybe to learn something about that, or whatever comes up to your mind in that moment?
Well, I'd rather leave that to you, Alex, because I think that you know what people in your vicinity, in your area are interested in.
Yes.
You know how to do that. You know how to.
Yes. And I will, yes, of course. I'm also starting the new school course on September. So there will be also link under the video.
Okay.
So maybe the people can also check my webpage.
So, you know, if there's anything I can do to support you, or to support your teaching, or to support what you're learning, yeah, pleasure to do that.
Yes, of course. And also I would like to announce that also we discussed about in September, we can make some online, like maybe that my students who are already that can meet you and maybe have some questions for you. Maybe you can demonstrate something for them or whatever, something in something in that sense. So I will also we will discuss maybe through email what time that suits us, and then I will post also on my webpage.
Very good. I think that we learn, Alex, we learn a little bit by listening to someone. I think we can learn more by watching someone doing what they're doing. We learn most when we can do that ourselves and find our own translation, our own version of that. So I like to talk about something, I like to demonstrate it, and then I like to have an opportunity for people to play with that and practice it in 2s or 3s, so that they can make their own version of it.
Amazing.
That's my preference.
Perfect, Rob. We can do that, and also the people and students will be happy to meet you. And
that would be fun.
Yes, of course. They are just asking me, like a few of them, like when we will meet Rob. So I said probably really soon. So yeah.
Well, I think that you know, I find that most people who meet me as a person are pretty likely to be disappointed because I'm nothing very special, you know, I'm just a pretty ordinary person. But I think the benefit that people get and that I'm interested in sharing and that you are interested in sharing is the way they can learn to be more of how they are.
Yes, yes.
Nothing special, just
nothing special. Yes, yes.
just another ordinary human
Just
being. Like,
another ordinary. Yes.
I don't know whether you know that there's a beautiful poem that T.S. Eliot wrote. He said, "We shall not cease from exploration, and that the end of all of our exploring will be to return to the place from which we began and know it for the first time."
Beautiful.
So we can start somewhere and then we can go off, come back and like, okay, now I get it.
Amazing. Rob, thank you very much for your time. And we will, like I said, through email, we can set up the time and date.
That'll be fine.
Yes, of course. And I will post it also on my webpage, and also the video where it will be also at the end of the video. So,
well, thank you for inviting me, Alex, and I just hope that it's going to be that people can make some use of this, because it's just blah blah blah, it's just noise.
I think it will. I think it will. I'm all the time taking some use when I talk with you, so definitely they will be.
Oh, that's lovely to hear. Lovely.
Thank you very much, Rob, and see you soon.